Hello, today we're talking about identifying functions. So, what is a function? It is a relation in which each input x is paired with exactly one output y. Input x working, output y money. So however much you're working determines how much money you're going to make. 8 hours of sleep, it means more energy. And then practice makes perfect. Start that way. Okay. Sorry, my computer's going a little slow. So mappings. This is what a mapping looks like. It's when you have your input right here and your output. And your input goes to an output. So -2 goes to 1. So if I write that as an ordered pair or a relation, it's -2, 1. Then all of our inputs are going to be mapped with an output. We have 0 mapped with 12. So that's 0, 12. 5 is mapped with 8, which is going to be 5, 8. And 7 is mapped with -5, which is 7, -5. So what is not a function? So when we're looking at a mapping, the way we can identify something is not a function is if we have an output or an input that is mapped to more than one output. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. We have 1 mapped to 10. We have 5 mapped to 6. And we have 7 mapped to 1. Okay, so that looks fine. That looks like a function. We have 1 input per output, but look, now we have 7 also mapped to 6. So because we have 2 different inputs, 2 different x values that are going ahead and being inputted with, or the same, x value being mapped with 2 different y values, it is not a function because our x value is repeating and mapping to more than one output. If any inputs, x values, so an input is your x value, are repeated, it is not a function. So it can only be a function if our x values are not repeated. Okay. So functions in a table. -7, 3, -3, 4, 1, -6, 8, -1, and 9, 10. Now, here's our x values, and sometimes when there's a table, if it's sideways, they may do yx, xy, so pay attention to where x is and where y is. So here's x, our input, and y, our output, and so this is a function because none of our x's are repeated. -7, -3, 1, 8, 9, they're all different. And so here are the relations that I stated: -7, 3, -3, 4, 1, -6, 8, -1, and 9, 10. So that's what a function looks like in a table. So let's look at another one. We have -9, 2, -1, 2, 4, 2, 6, 2, and 12, 2. Even though our y value repeated, none of our x values repeated. So this is still a function. Remember, it's only not a function if our x repeats. Y can repeat as many times as it wants, but you never want to repeat your x. Move that over so you can see what that's saying. Sometimes it's going to be difficult on where I want to put my little camera. It says it's a function, y values can repeat. So what's not a function? We have -10, 2, -6, 5, 0, -7, 8, 2, and 0, 9. So like we said, if you repeat your x, it's not a function. So let's look at our x's. Do we have anything that repeats? We have 0, -7, and we have 0, 9. Repeating x values, this is not a function. Okay, so let's look at functions in a graph. So here's our graph. You can use the vertical line test to find a point and draw a vertical line. If there's exactly one point on the vertical line, it is a function. Now, you have to be able to draw a vertical line anywhere on the graph. So if you find one spot where there's more than one dot that it touches, and it's not going to be a function. So we're drawing a vertical line, and it only touches once. It only touches once. It only touches once. Only touches once. Only touches once. And only touches once. So this is a function. It passes the test and is a function. So let's try one to see what not a function in a graph looks like. So let's go ahead and do the vertical line test. I'll put my face right there. But it's actually starting to glitch out. Oh no. Hopefully that this won't be like this forever and it's still recording. So we're talking about what's not a function. So we're drawing a vertical line, and look, it touches 1 and 2 times. Touches 1, 2, 3 times. Touches 1, 2 times. There are multiple points on this graph that do not pass the vertical line test. Therefore, this graph is not a function. You just have to find one point that has more than one, or one line that touches more than one point, a function. Remember, it's got to be able to do a vertical line anywhere on the graph and only touch the graph once. Okay. I'm waiting for it to go to the next slide. Okay, so I believe that's the end of it. So that is going over mappings. We went over our table. We went over our ordered pairs and what our ordered pairs look like. And we went over graphs. So remember, for it to be a function, our x values cannot repeat. Because why would you want to repeat your x? So your x values cannot repeat. If you're looking at a graph, if it passes the vertical line test, great, it's a function. If at any point on the graph, it touches more than once, it is not a function. Hopefully this helps. You have a great day.